Welcome one and all to the first episode of Nature's Radio, the podcast where I, your host Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, talk to people from all over the nature world, domestic, exotic pet trade, all the stuff like that. We're here today. Boy, I'm excited. Be sure, guys, it is our first episode, so I gotta get it out of the way. Be sure to fucking leave a review on this, whatever you're listening on. There's so many avenues to listen for a podcast: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, naturesradio.podbean.com, and leave a review for us. Subscribe and leave a review. It helps us out greatly. We're a new podcast. Share it to your friends and such as well. I do gotta make it clear, this episode was recorded a few months ago before this release date, so if anything seems a little bit timely, that's why. Also, as well, to other people out there who work in an organization, a zoo, or whatever it might be, that you want to get your voice heard and you want to talk about and have a very laid-back conversation, then guess what, folks? You can. Send me an email at filmworld97@gmail.com and go ahead and we'll try to get you here on the show. Now, without further ado, let's dive into my pleasantry talk here with Christian.
What's up, guys? Generic YouTuber here. Generic podcaster.
God.
We're shooting the shit today for, what was it called?
It's Nature's Radio. Also, it doesn't help you're a white guy.
Never.
No, it does not help when it say generic and you're a white guy. Welcome, guys. I'm the host of the show, not fucking Christian here. This is whom you may think. I'm the host, Dakota Morgan, episode 1 of this shit. There's been a trailer talking about it, but this is episode 1 of Nature's Radio, the uncensored talk show where I myself as an animal caretaker and fighter of animal rights, I guess you could say, as I bring on people who work in animal field too. We shoot the shit, tell some fun stories, and talk about all sorts of things, and perhaps give you guys some knowledge too, while also brain fucking you a little bit on a completely uncensored show. Christian, it is very hot. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thanks for having me.
We got beers.
Yeah, no, we got beers, for sure.
Oh, wait,
Dead space.
Hold on. That was some ASMR.
Please cut that out.
No, we're gonna leave that. People are gonna tune in like a son of a bitch for this show. Yeah, guys, welcome to Nature's Radio. Christian here. You have a very interesting. You and I have been friends now for 2 years almost. It's been almost 2 fucking years. Believe it or not, it's been almost 2 years. We've helped each other out through a lot of ups and downs. We've been through a lot of crazy shit. We've saved each other's lives more times than I can count.
We're currently touching knees.
We are. Fascinating. Very fascinating. We both have girlfriends, but does that mean anything in 2022? Who knows? But yeah, tell people, I mean, we met at Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary where we do some work. You're currently technically my teacher in a way, as I'm an intern there, but also a worker, but then not worker with you guys? I don't fucking know. But tell the people, volunteer, but also intern now with the Crocs, and also caretaker with other animals too, because fuck, you guys drag me in everything. They're like, oh, what does he do? He handles everything, it's fine. I don't even think I get yelled at for working with mammals anymore. It's really, at that point. What do you do exactly, though?
So I do a little bit of everything. But I mostly work with the juvenile Crocs and anything under 5 feet. But I do work with the adult ones as well, and as I get pulled in to just about anything that's necessary, I will do it. Like, for instance, just yesterday, you and I helped with cleaning the pond of the New Guinea Crocs.
We were probably 10 to 15 feet down, and yeah, we were 10, 15 feet down on a pond. I would say we had the New Guinea down there. What's he at size-wise? I'd say
not 9, maybe 10 feet.
9, maybe. Yeah, I think about 10 almost. We used shields and we pushed them back, but we do feedings, we do caretaking shit, we do medical. I mean, Christian here's done some papers as well, so put together some stuff on it. And why not? And I still believe you should probably publish that paper on fucking crocodilian health, why not? Because you have a big collection of it, so might as well put it out there. Side note, we do a lot of shit like that. I mean, shit. We also take care of snakes, so we should make it clear the Phoenix Sanctuary, Herpetological Sanctuary, is a place where we takes in animals. I mean, you explain it. You're technically a fucking worker. Promote yourself.
So it's
backstory.
We're the largest reptile sanctuary in the U.S. at the moment, and right around somewhere between 1,600 and 1,700 animals, something like that. And
not including tortoises.
Yeah, that does include tortoises, but it's about 600 of those are African sulcata tortoises. So majority of it is actually tortoises. Then we've got about 100 crocodilians.
Got no snakes.
250 venomous snakes, probably 600 non-venomous snakes and lizards. We've got a handful of mammals, which I'm sure you'll have Mason on at some point. He actually was going to text you, see if he could come today, but I don't think he ever did. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, so we do a little bit of everything, and we'll take in reptiles that need somewhere to go. We'll do our best to find them new homes, but if they can't be rehomed, then we will keep them with us at the sanctuary as long as we possibly can. On the topic of wild things, I'm going to derail this for just a moment.
Is it the story?
It's the story. All right, so I had quite the drive over here to record.
Well, hold on. We are in Phoenix, Arizona, by the way. I should make it clear. Not all the guests we're going to have on the show are in Phoenix, but we are in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm not going to give my apartment, but we are in my apartment right now recording in our studio thing that we have.
Number 1733.
What the numbers, Mason? What do they mean? If you know that joke, which, by the way, that's a game. It's 12 fucking years old now. Make you feel old. 12 years old at least. I think Modern Warfare 2 is 15.
That's worse, because I remember when that came out. I remember when Modern Warfare 2 came out and staying up until midnight to go to GameStop to pick up Modern Warfare 2, then go home and play it all night long.
Fallout 4 is 8 years old now. Possibly almost, I think, 10.
I played like an hour of Fallout 4, and that's it.
You're dead to me. All right. We play Halo together sometimes, so it's fine. All right, so continue the story.
We'll start again. Yeah, so on the drive over here, I had the most wild experience, and I can say it was probably somewhere in the area of Cactus and 7th Street, which is northern Phoenix.
Beginning of Rough Town.
I don't know who this person was. But there was somebody standing, waiting to cross at the light. This was about the longest fucking red light I've ever sat at. It 8 minutes easy. So, I'm sitting there. I'm probably 5 cars back. This guy's standing at the light. No idea who any of these people involved in this story are. Somebody rolls down their window, hands this guy, I shit you not, a full unopened pack of Trulies. Guy, it's just random ass car handing this random ass guy a pack of Trulies. Dude says thank you, immediately breaks open the box and starts shotgunning. No, this guy's waiting at the light. He's standing at the light, like on foot, waiting to cross in the crosswalk. Yeah, so he starts just shotgunning. And he gets about 8 Trulies in and then turns around, immediately throws up. Throws up a second time, turns back around, finishes the last 4 Trulies.
That man's a hero. That man is a fucking hero from all I'm concerned. Wow.
I told you it was a story.
Wow. I saw some dude whacking off the other day when I was driving my ambulance, so there's that. I mean, that's impressive. 9 Trulies. We're here with our own beers. I got a Corona, and you got the Joy Bus from Fort Peaks, local brewer here. That was actually from buddy Chris, who's from Illinois. He actually came down. Shout out to Chris. He lives here now, and he actually gave that as a moving present. So you're fucking slacking, Christian.
Yeah, I gave you nothing.
You give me teeth, it's fine. I should say crocodile teeth. That's what I'm paid in as an intern. I'm paid in.
No, it's actual teeth. It's human teeth. I pulled mine out last night.
We all feel old in animal jobs, trust me. But I feel like that's my next thing to go is my fucking teeth. But yeah, so you deal with some stuff too, and we've been through the ringer a little bit. So have you. You've been through some fucking ringer and adventures here, because people may think it's a glorious job 24/7. I'm gonna make it clear to everybody here: any job that we work hands-on with animals, it's not always glorious. It's not always.
It's 90% feces.
Whew, and carnivore feces are a smell. It is a smell. I should make it clear, it's on par with smells as my job too. Is I think in the trailer we may or may not put out actually. My other job is an EMT officer, so I am an emergency animal medical technician. I drive an animal ambulance. I help do crimes, do injured strays and whatnot. So we do also owner surrenders. I work with PD, yada yada yada. We go to hoarder houses, and my God, I'll do a whole episode on that job because that's a fucking job. Whew, at least get my own ambo. It's with the Arizona Humane Society, Animal Cops Phoenix. Look the show up. That's what it is. So
Is that an actual show?
that is a show. It's It's on Discovery Plus on Animal Planet right now, actually.
Are you on it?
I am not, but I actually am friends with the majority of the cast.
I'm gonna go home and watch it.
Do it. It's gonna make you depressed. It's gonna make you really depressed.
I watched Animal Cops Detroit starting at the age of 6 years old. Thank you very much.
You know what I was doing at 6 years old watching? Orangutan Island. Okay. That was a good one. I cried, and I put together a binder with papers telling George Bush he needs to get his act together and help conserve orangutans when one died on the island because it drowned. And said that if people gave a damn, then they wouldn't have done this. They wouldn't have died. I'm like, oh, no! I wrote to George Bush, and I never sent it out. My dad's like, what the hell is he doing?
You were writing letters to GW, and and I was watching Zaboomafoo, and then immediately into Animal Cops Detroit and Chicago and all that bullshit.
There was no Animal Cops Chicago anymore because he was shot.
Well, I'm pretty sure a handful of them got shot on the show. So
I've almost been shot a bunch. I've almost been stabbed a bunch. But it's gonna be that podcast episode's gonna be a fucking story.
I would like to be on for that.
Okay. You can be. So working with Crocs, my good man. I know what it's like, but the listeners who may not know jack shit, maybe working at Walmart right now who are listening to the podcast episode because fuck, or maybe listening to McDonald's. Who the hell knows? What is that like exactly?
You know, I think you're forgetting a very important demographic for this podcast. Underwater basket weavers. The utmost important listener. Everyone else, fuck off.
The show's been canceled. If you know that reference, the show's been canceled.
Anyways, no, it's great working with crocodiles. You know, it's alligators too. Any crocodilians in general. So that encompasses. At the Phoenix Herp Sanctuary, we have 22 of the 24 recognized species of crocs. Now that number is going up. It's more than 24 as the days go by. You know, you've got the Rio Apiporus caiman has been rediscovered in the Amazon.
That's true.
Originally thought extinct. You've got the subspecies now. You've got West African crocodiles. There's 3 subspecies of dwarf crocodiles. I believe they're looking at making another subspecies of Nile crocs. Really? It's hit or miss. You know how scientific names become 3,000 different names.
As a guy who works in I used to volunteer in paleontology for about 2 years, and then still follows up and listens to science shows to this very fucking day, and contributes a lot in the paleo community. Let me tell you, yeah, considering T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex itself, not its cousins, they wanted to make it into 3 different subspecies the other day. I know all about it. No, the T-Rex family, there's in the Tyrannosaur family, there's a lot, but there's only one Rex. So there's I think 5 different cousins of T-Rex. Some smaller, some had feathers actually. Tyrannus had feathers, lived in the Arctic.
What's the one? Oh God, I had a professor in community college that actually worked on the dig, the really big famous
Sue.
Yeah.
There's also Stan, the T-Rex.
It was Sue she worked on. She was actually there when they started digging it. You got a poster?
I do. I have an art print. I had my tonsils and adenoids taken out the day Sue Anderson actually came into town back in Illinois when I was a kid, 2004. And she came to the local museum in Aurora. This was before we lived more in the ghettos, before we moved to Sycamore. And the artist signed it and said best wishes. And then also I said it was a gift from my grandma. And the good T-Rex print, by the way, paleo accurate at the time. It says, to Dakota, sorry you couldn't come. Rex wishes, Sue.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen a drawing like that that's that accurate. Maybe, I don't know if you'll have a social media page for this, but
this is my own.
Okay. Well, in that case, maybe you can post a picture of it.
I will. Yeah, I should here, but yeah. Well, Casey also we got a baby Brachiosaurus also too, so dimorphodon baby on it.
This is all in his sex dungeon, of course.
Oh, of course. We have my swing set right over there, 2 of them, so you can hold hands as you 2 are meeting each other. It's a very uncensored nature show, guys. I'll let you continue on now. Sorry.
Nature for Adults would have been another great name.
That sounds like porn.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Oh, that's my next show.
So Working with crocodiles, I do everything from cleaning ponds, which is honestly about 90% of it, to some basic medical care when needed, scrapes and cuts, treating that kind of stuff, but also making sure that when there are actual injuries, because they are wild animals, that they get to the vet accordingly and on time. Along with that, I get to do some feedings. That's usually the most entertaining part of the job for most people that are thinking, I want to work with reptiles or I want to work with crocodiles, is they think about feeding and they don't necessarily think about actually the equipment that goes into it and the what's the word I'm thinking of? The general animal care that really is, mostly cleaning. That's pretty much what the job is. You're cleaning up after animals that are in enclosures that can't clean up after themselves. So it is majority of the time you're cleaning. But when you're not cleaning, like I said, we worked in the bottom of a dry pond, I should specify, but cleaning the pond for a New Guinea croc. We've had some really crazy things happen where we've had to replace dividers between ponds. So essentially our ponds are set up where it's one big pond split in half with plexiglass and chain link. Yeah, we do move a lot of the crocs out to other facilities. So when we do that, we have to noose them and get them in crates. Or
Really fun.
It is. It's honestly the most fun and entertaining part of the job. I will say, you weren't there, but we were having to do a repair on our broad snout caiman pin, and we were trying a really thick rope for a noose to try and catch the broad snout caiman. They're about 4.5, 5 feet at most, and we were trying the thick rope, and it was not working, just kept sliding off, and we ended up swapping to a slightly smaller rope, slightly smaller in diameter rope, and I have never felt so successful in my life by the fact that I was able to successfully get it under their bottom jaw, so around their neck, tighten it, and pull them up out of the pond first try with that smaller rope.
Wow. First fucking try. See, that's called a professional right there, ladies and gentlemen. And if people say otherwise, yeah, fuck yourself. So,
It's like 25 years is what's considered a professional.
I thought it was 50.
I don't think so.
No, it's 25 years?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
All right, you look it up right there. But, I mean, that's impressive. I didn't know about that. That is very fucking impressive right there. Now you got to do Yeti.
Yetis are probably close to somewhere between 800 and 1,000 pound American croc, and he is absolutely massive. But I have been standing between him and his female for about 4 hours. Was the most I've ever spent.
You had to shield the course, right?
I did have a shield for a little over half of it.
Does jack shit though with him.
I mean, with a 1,000-pound croc, it'll do something, but with wood can only take so much pressure. But the shield is large enough that they can't get their jaws around it. The base of his skull is like 3 feet.
Make it clear as he's looking that up right there. Like, that is one crocodilian. There's only a couple of them there at the sanctuary that I work with that actually make me nervous when I'm in the cage with them. That's one of them. He's very much one of them. Not even the Morlets, who I think are the sassiest ones around when it comes to crocodilians, I think they're the sassiest. Would you agree on that one? Like, they're the most sassiest kind of ones around. The Morlets.
I would say as juveniles, it would be a toss-up between a Morlet's crocodile and an Australian freshwater crocodile.
Very true. Them fuckers are crazy. They are incredibly crazy.
But as an adult, I would say that the New Guineas are probably really close. Salty's top of that list for sure. Siamese are close. And Nile crocodiles still.
Niles are very... Salty's... that's a good point. Salty's and Niles for sure. I mean, have you ever watched Crockett's Irwins?
Yeah, I have. I've actually seen every episode.
Shit, I'm catching up on season 2 right now. You're doing way better.
Suck my dick.
Present. I'm... But listen, Shark Week came out. It's been a hell of a thing. That's my secret love is sharks, and I really want to learn the work with sharks. Like, I got a huge fucking resume. So do you. But we should make it clear too, as he's looking this up. When you have
Still, 20 minutes later.
it feels like it. When you are in our position, you know, that's the thing. Like, we're as an animal field, 99% of the people will always say this, and the 1% they don't go anywhere in our field is you always need to be learning. Like, that's always the big thing about it. Like, you're always learning new stuff in the field. When I worked at the exotic animal hospital for a year, I learned so much under some really great scientists and doctors there. Some wonderful shit that I bring to the sanctuary and help out like a motherfucker with. I teach people when I use in my job, when I can with exotics there as an EMT, and along those lines, and, you know, teaching people good things about how to help their pets in a way too. But also I worked with game and fish at that hospital too, so that allowed me to do blood draw and x-rays on a goddamn bobcat, which was terrifying when the anesthesia started to wear off in the x-ray room. We're like, go God, gas him up. The wallaby though was great. If you ever get a chance to work with a wallaby, it's wonderful.
I remember when Phoenix Herp or PHS, I'm going to abbreviate to PHS. I remember PHS having a wallaby. They used to have 2, but that was before I was a volunteer. I actually came to the sanctuary for the first time in 2006.
Oh, you're old.
Well, you know, a little bit. 2006 for when, long story short, the sanctuary had started taking in animals that Game and Fish confiscated, that kind of stuff. And they still do, by the way. We still do, yeah, we still do. They ended up getting a call about a box truck that had been pulled over, and it had crocodilians, alligators, tarantulas, you name it, a lot of reptiles, mostly illegal. It was being transported through well, they had like green iguanas and stuff on there too, so I don't want to say all illegal, but for the most part, it was about 80, maybe 75% illegal animals.
We should also say that you should not own these animals as pets.
Yeah, never. I don't recommend it. While they are fascinating, I highly recommend admiring from a distance. Having them as a pet, an animal that can literally take your life, is more so than a dog or a cat. Because don't get me wrong, dogs and cats can still do it.
This is coming also from, I can agree with that 100%. As a guy who's seen corpses from dogs and cats before that have been eaten and such like that at my job, yeah, 100%. Yep. The person died, or maybe it was a dog fight or something like that. But also, I've had a lot of close calls. A lot of close calls with more dogs almost than Crocs. Never been bit by a snake, though, in about, I think now it's 12 years of caring for snakes.
Really?
I've never been bit by a snake. Or I've been bit. You can't say that anymore, but also I've been bitten more by hamsters than any reptile in my life.
Well, that's because they're suicidal.
Yeah. And they're assholes. But as you're saying with the story, because I know where you're leading with this, too. This episode will be dedicated to him. To? I thought you were going to meet this about Stubbs.
Oh, I was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about all that. Kind of blacked it out. So, I hit a button. We're good. I accidentally hit one of the arrows.
Oh, you're good.
I hope you edit this.
I'll stay in.
Oh, great. So part of that seizure from Game and Fish that was given to PHS was a handful of crocodilians. I believe there was a Nile crocodile, some American alligators, mostly American alligators that had actually been taken from the wild in Florida and Louisiana, to my knowledge. And one of them, they thought, had been born without a tail, but after actually doing some x-rays, they found that it was previous trauma, that the tail had been bitten off, and for the longest time, his name was Mr. Stubbs. Unfortunately, Mr. Stubbs recently passed away. I miss the little guy. That was a real brand ambassador, especially for PHS. We worked very closely with the university, or Midwestern University, and the wonderful people there that made him a prosthetic tail. If you Google Mr. Stubbs alligator, he will absolutely come up. because he was the only alligator in the world, or as far as I know, only crocodilian in the world to have a prosthetic tail.
Yeah, and he also had the best. I loved working with them. I mean, even before I started doing interns with crocodilians, you guys let me work with Baby and Stubbs. Yeah. Like, that was like the thing there, because I guess I was trustworthy. Fucking idiots. But that was the thing. And, you know, this episode will be dedicated to Mr. Stubbs. That was a fucking heartbreaking day. But you know what, though? His mate, she still lives on, Baby who falls asleep on my lap if her mouth is taped. Fucking wonderful. I know she does this with a couple people, but it's a wonderful fucking experience. Really served as brand ambassadors for the crocodilian species, I think. There's National Geographic did a thing. I know for sure. Yeah, National Geographic did a thing. God, now we gotta find the magazine with him in it. Because he's in it. He's in one. Oh, is he? Yes, he is. Yeah, we're gonna have to look that up. That's getting fucking framed.
By the way, I did the research. Okay. Some we'll call cursory research. Okay. To be considered a professional in a field, it's 20 to 25,000 hours. But to be considered a specialist, it's 4 years.
So, it's fucking stupid. Oh my god!
Trying to figure out how many years 20,000 years in a profession is.
We're both pretty good at math, but there's just some points when we're not clocked in at a job. Sir, I have to deal with medications. I have to be fucking good at math and dosages and how many fucking milliliters or cc's to give an animal of LRS out in the field, or how much of the antibiotic medication to give it when out in the field and shit like that. Hell, even at the hospital. No, I learned to be good on numbers real quick again after fucking working with a 45-year-old bird, where if I messed up by one number on how much medication to give him, he would die. I was not explaining to that old guy who had that bird that his parrot died. And it's like, yeah, the replacement for your wife, she passed. The bird passed. Your wife who died 25 years ago? Yeah. But, you know, that is the thing with it. So, you do... That was me. That was the office in here. I should say 12 what? 12 years? 12 years. Fuck me. Imagine doing something for 12 years.
Well, I did my time. I did my waiting. 12 years of it. We're all nerds here.
It's true. Everybody in the animal field is really nerds. If they're not, they're fucking lying to you. Absolutely. They're absolutely lying to you. There's no way.
I'm sure I got that quote wrong.
Probably. But, I mean, that's the thing, too, about it. Like, we love what we do. We're always adapting. We're always learning new shit because people are always discovering new species, new stories about it. That's Kayla's little Paul journal. No idea what that is. It might be a diary that you just pulled out of the desk. You might... That's the thing about it, too. And that's why I wanted to start this show, is to bring people on like you, Christian, to get, like, a behind-the-scenes kind of look at things and kind of give a viewpoint of it and such. I mean, we can go... Do you have a time limit? We're at 27 minutes right now.
Not really.
Not really? Okay, you can go for like 10, 15 more minutes?
Oh, yeah.
I got some questions for you.
Sure.
I got some. This is shooting this shit.
My ass is off limits, unfortunately.
Damn it. So, this is going to be probably commonly fucking asked questions that you and I get asked on the fucking reg, for sure. So as soon as people look at my Instagram, they fucking ask me questions. And especially people when I used to work in the film industry. Let me tell you, they're all interested about animal stuff. Did air quotes? Yeah. Oh God, it's not a Weinstein situation. I swear, I've met them, but no. Irons and Stars, by the way. I met people who worked at Weinstein. They told me some shit. They told me some hardcore shit back in the day.
Why don't you
Did you want to start the questions? Let's not send more people to jail. Let's not. I mean, okay. Yeah. But Christian knows I have stories.
He's got a wonderful idea that he just told me about 20 minutes ago.
Not telling on this show. That's going to be involved for a very adult podcast coming up here soon. But you can be, literally. Commonly asked questions. So, what do you enjoy the most? Do you think about working with them? I mean, I'm gonna try not to answer any of these because you and I relate a lot on both of these fucking questions. All right.
I'll give a little bit. I am a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so if you work with wild animals or reptiles a lot as well, carnivorous animals, you name it. You really have to be an adrenaline junkie. So I got to say, anything that gets the blood pumping, reticulated pythons. Okay, all right. Well, we'll wait for Taj, like the Taj Mahal. He's probably going to tell you that his name is Tom, but it is not. So yeah. I really hope you edit this shit. Completely unedited. This is terrifying. Anyways, so anything that really gets the blood pumping for me. So any time we have to go in with an animal that is of significant stature, whether that be depending on attitude, depending on day, because reptiles are cold-blooded, and Crocs or crocodilians in general are, the warmer it is, usually the feistier they are. The other thing most people don't think about is in storms, when it rains, anything like that. So we're, like you said, we're in Phoenix, Arizona. So right now it's monsoon season. Global warming doesn't help. But during monsoon season, I will say that majority of, especially the juvenile Crocs that I work with, they really, they really more amped up. It seems like they have more energy. They're more on edge.
I'd contribute that to the humidity in the air. Humidity in the air definitely does it, because they're like, I feel at home now. This isn't a straight heat. I feel like a SpongeBob movie with SpongeBob and Patrick frying on a goddamn thing with a magnifying glass. It doesn't. I definitely think it's more wet. It's more wet everywhere, not just the tank. The humidity in reptiles, folks. If you have any reptiles at home, if you're listening to this podcast, most likely you do. Humidity is your best fucking friend. And it is the thing that's going to save your animal's life, especially if you have a chameleon, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my Lord, you know how many chameleons I treated at the hospital? Is ungodly amount, too. Ungodly amount.
Also, never release your animals, especially your reptiles, out into the wilderness. You might think that they're going to survive, and they might survive, but they're not supposed to be there, so don't do it.
Yeah, it involves things called, biodiversity. That's a little too extreme biodiversity. It also includes things of diseases that get made, overpopulation in some, and depopulation and a lot of shit too. Outsourcing each other, meaning that the species is dying. I can't compete with the other ones, so that species goes extinct when they're a natural resource, aka bees. So other question here too. Your favorite crocodilian, sir? Also, I should answer the question, too. Mine is conservation with the animals, I think, and preserving them. I can't tell you, I feel the most therapeutic and calm when in a crocodile pen.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think, too, I agree with, there's more than one reason to work with animals, especially with reptiles. And while being an adrenaline... Right, they really do not get enough love. But being an adrenaline junkie is not a reason to work with reptiles. I mean, I went to school for fire science. I've done rappelling. I've built my own ropes courses, all kinds of stuff. That is adrenaline in and of itself. The real reason anyone wants to work with animals is to help the animals, teach about conservation, really try to bestow knowledge about the animals to people that don't understand or don't know. And I know that this episode has really been off the rails for most of it, but it's all right, cool. So I'm finding out that this is gonna be like this every time. I'm really sorry. Anyways, right. Yeah. So no, conservation is really the biggest part. My ultimate end goal for myself is I would love to work with endangered crocodilian species in the wild. There aren't a lot of facilities out there that are doing a whole lot. You've got IUCN Red List that does a lot of research. That's mostly scientists. There is. Okay, I did not know about that. Oh, all right, cool. So I'll have to look into that. But there's, one of my favorites to keep up on is the Crocodile Research Coalition in Mexico and down through the Yucatan Peninsula. They do a lot with Morlet's crocodiles, American crocodiles, and they're recently starting to branch out to expand into South America, start focusing on Orinoco crocodiles. I've heard rumors of some caiman species, as well as they have an interest in Cuban crocodiles. It's just really hard to get into Cuba still to actually do that research to back it up.
Even after the recent laws?
Yeah, mostly because it's less of the government and more so getting the permits to actually go out and survey these animals, and that's really that's really a struggle no matter where you're at, is getting the permits to be able to actually go out and handle wild animals. Without those permits, you're risking prison time, and especially in other countries, you really don't want to be putting yourself. Crocodilians are mostly in aquatic areas, and honestly, a lot of the reason why there's not as much research backing up the crocodilian populations and how we can actually observe them and how we can maintain them throughout the future to keep the species alive is because it's so hard to get to the location where they're native to. On top of that, if you're looking at South and Central America, you're dealing with cartels, you're dealing with civil wars. Yep, that's very true. When you go, yeah, right. When you get into Asia, you're dealing with civil wars as well. That's really the biggest thing over there. One of the hardest ones to get permits to go to, it would be China, to try and observe the Chinese alligators.
Which I do want to say, if it's called the Chinese, we have the American alligator and we treat them like shit. So there is that, I suppose.
It's interesting you say that because the American alligators are one of the few conservation success stories from the last 100 years that we actually can look back on. Really? Because at one point they were on the verge of extinction. There was not many left out there. Clarification here. They're not, I know for sure, like, not for conservation for extinct status. And I know their level of conservation at the moment, but I mean, in how we treat them in general, because that's a big part of the problem with crocodilians, is they're Crocs. You got alligators, you got Crocs. I mean, fuck, how many other things in Florida do you see where they just like, bring in the biggest one? Hold on, that's not its old man accent. Let me get the real one. I'm not insulting anybody, I swear. We come on down here, and then you go bring in the largest alligator you can, and you get $100,000 prize. Or, we go and kill them snakes, them little demons, go kill them and bring them out in here and shit. I just insulted all of Florida. I'm so sorry. Texas Rattlesnake Roundup. Arizona's one of the few who doesn't do bullshit like that. Arizona, in the U.S. at least, to my knowledge, is one of the toughest on animal laws in general. Good. So. Good. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I think every state could be tougher, but Arizona really is, especially when it comes to animal abuse, anything like that. Killing. What was that? You know who's second? I do not. Really? Yeah. I didn't know that California was second. I would have thought they would have been first and we would have been second, mostly because usually we're at the bottom of the list. Education. Stay in school, folks. So yeah. But no, and all
right, none of that. I'm taking the mic from you, sir. Sooner or later, we're gonna get a really fancy setup in here for when I bring people over, but. It's just tough. It's tough, especially a carnivore, especially one like that. Taj and I are definitely going to have a very in-depth talk about this for snakes, because snakes also are the ones that probably get a worse rap, because we're moving into more territory of people like, oh, I'm an animal person. And what pisses me off more is when people tell me they're an animal person and they love animals, they fight for their rights and stuff, but they're only in it for cats and dogs. That is not an animal person.
Fuck spiders.
That's different, and I like spiders. I've literally had spiders go into my ear, and I had to pull them out. But Christian's done. He's arachnophobia. He's not going to see the remake. I'm going to buy him a ticket, though, either way. He's going to fucking... All right, you say that now. I'm gonna get really drunk or stoned.
No, yeah, you know what? I'll wander around and see that, because I remember a time. I'm gonna throw it back a few years to the idea of, as a child, I don't know about you, Dakota, but my mom worked at Blockbuster for fun. And so she actually would bring home just random movies.
We're the same age, asshole.
Yeah, I know. But we have different experiences. So yeah, she worked at Blockbuster for fun for like summer. And my dad would always take me, and we'd pick out a movie, and then she'd come home and surprise us with a movie, which is one of my all-time favorite memories. But there is one specific memory that pertains to movies, because I know you're a movie fanatic. That really sticks out in my mind, and that is wandering around a random-ass Hollywood video moments before they were closing. We'd been in there for like an hour. And the one movie, she told me I could pick out one movie. I found one movie, and I picked out Arachnophobia.
Any video I got from Hollywood Video was either Godzilla or some incredibly sci-fi movie with me and my grandma. It was a fun fact, folks. They had the gaming department was metal as fuck. And how it was chain link fence in there. There was painted black, and it's like, here's the video games. Isn't it cool? And I'm like, yeah, it's actually really cool. Yeah, god damn, I would not expect that actually from you.
Right.
Wow, look at you go.
I love scary movies. I love horror movies, anything like that.
That I do know. That one I did know, but I wouldn't figure arachnophobia. But going back to it, I think it's tough for. We can finish this topic that we did start. Fuck. Before trailing off, it's just tough to get support. Like I said, being an animal person is more than just cats and dogs, and you almost always see support for animals anymore of the fluffy, the cute, why can't cuddle it? That thing you can't cuddle is a big part of our ecosystem and fucking makes the world go round, ladies and gentlemen. Like, there is a lot of shit in there that need the love and support. And yeah, you can't hug them. I mean, you can, if you know how to scoop or get pinned down an alligator hatchling or something like that, or a little baby. I mean, kind of, but more or less. I mean, like I said, baby in her mouth tape, she's fucking lays in my lap, falls asleep. So there's that. And she really does, because she pushes my ass down every time. That hurt. It really did. My legs hurt for like 2 weeks. It's like, fuck. And just not getting the love and support, which is part of the reason why I did the show, is so we can get the love and support out there to show that these are more than just, especially Carl. We were going to have, obviously, I'm going to have people on who are, non-carnivore keepers and whatnot too, and all that jazz, and conservation folks. And the animals out there who need the love, the exotic love and such like that. We may talk about cats and dogs here and now and then, but like it's tough, and I feel like there's a little bit of a glimmer of hope. But in that glimmer, like it's that glimmer, like you see the sun when you're going down on a roller coaster. Like I feel like we're going down, but the sun's still there. But we need to get off the cart and say we need to go back up instead of going down, because I don't like the trajectory we're heading for representation for animals. To be honest with you, like fuck, Idris Elba's new movie is coming out. It's all about lions being man-eaters.
I thought it was about one specific man-eater.
Well, one specific man-eater, and it's not even the movie. It's not even the true only man-eater lion, the one from the 1800s, where the dude took 3 months to hunt him down. He had like 47 confirmed kills or something like that. It's not even that movie. It's just like modern-day times. Guy having a lion come after him, non-mutated, but it's a real. Aren't these animals scary? It's like, no, these animals are endangered. They need fucking help. Like, I love Lake Placid a bunch of the fucking next guy, but you know what? The animals need better representation, I think. They really do, and Christian and I and other people, we're in a war right now, to say the least, here to protect and preserve these animals in this downward slope. It's gotten really fucking serious right now, but I just want to make that clear and finish that point for going on for like 10 minutes.
I'll brighten it up a bit. When it comes to crocodilians, because that's really my main focus.
I didn't answer. What's your favorite one?
Oh, I never answered that? Okay, I'll come back. So yeah, the real crazy thing is when it comes to crocodilians, whether you think you know something about them or not, a wild animal is a wild animal, and they will defend themselves to the death no matter what.
Humans are scary to every species.
Humans are scary to every species, and we are only apex predators because of our technology. That said, on the topic of man-eater lions, I don't know if you heard the news from last week, but there actually was a CEO of a big game hunter company. I don't know what you want to call that. Hunting guide?
Terrorists.
Yeah, well, fair. So he was the CEO of a guide company for big game hunters. And he actually was out on. He's known for hunting lions and elephants, and I won't say his name, but
Say his fucking name.
I don't remember it.
Fucking liar.
Anyways, he actually was going after a pride of lions, and he waded into a bit of water and actually was consumed by Nile crocodiles.
Sometimes there is justice in this world. The names have been changed, but the stories are true. This is Law and Order. Law and Order is fucking served. I can't remember the actress name, but that was my one of my crushes. That was one of my crushes growing up. Law and Order? The woman from the Law and Order SVU. Oh God. I can't remember an actress's name. But that's a brilliant fucking story. I love that. I love when that shit. I love it because all the news I've been seeing recently has not been good in animals' favor. Between sharks who get in a bad fucking rap right now, between crocodilians, other predators, non-predators, like it's a whole fucking thing. Mariska Hargitay? Sorry if I pronounced that wrong or butchered it. It's terribly sorry. Hargitay. Yeah, that was one of my favorite. My crushes right there. So like Chloe from Smallville, but we're not gonna get into that one. Tough crowd on that. But yeah, that's fucking. I love when that shit happens, man. Global Conservation Force, they're doing the Lord's work. There was a Lord. But Earth Race. What is that one?
So Earth Race is I believe they're a group founded or at least run. Mostly their direct action department is run or operated by Pete Bethune, who I am a huge Sea Shepherd supporter. They're a marine conservation organization that focuses on direct action. And I was going to mention this, that actually Captain Paul Watson, the legendary Paul Watson, stepped down. The man, the myth, the legend. He stepped down from the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, which is the United States department of it. There's a little bit back and forth going on there, but he's still part of Sea Shepherd Global. Anyways, Earth Race is a group that focuses on hunting, for lack of a better term, hunting poachers, and they have
Conservation Force.
Yes.
Okay.
They are a majority of the direct action force for those guys are former special forces. Pete Bethune himself, I believe, is British SAS, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe he might be Australian.
You tell me Captain Price is on this team?
It's been rumored.
If you know who that is, you are a legend. Christian looks now done. He's like, you piece of shit. All right, continue, sorry.
But yeah, so they oh well, all right, well we got like 6 more inches. They will go out, and Pete Bethune, highly recommend following his social media stuff. I believe it was 2019. It may have been December of 2018 though. Was actually on mission in the Amazon rainforest and was bitten by a fer-de-lance. And their boat with their medical, like their actual medical staff, was still, I want to say he was really far, something like 4 miles or something like that from where they were at in the jungle. And he actually, after being bitten on the leg, hiked about 3/4 of the hike out to the boat on the river, and then had to be carried by the rest of his crew back to the boat. And he survived. He made it. He got anti-venom. He's okay now. But honestly, that hike probably saved his life.
Absolute badasses in our field of animals, man. It really is true. I mean, they may look at us and say wimps, but fuck you. Like, do we retire and just go work on the Sea Shepherd?
It's volunteer only, except for like a handful of people. But if I was a millionaire, yeah, I'd absolutely do that.
We're both with people. We both have girlfriends. Maybe they can hold down the fort for like a year. It's just they're gonna listen to this and say, "Go fuck yourself." They're not gonna listen to this.
I doubt Olivia will listen to this.
Oh, there she, Olivia. You're great. What the hell? See, we can say we talked about her on the show.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. Hi.
Hi, Michaela. Love you. Don't worry. Yeah, we're almost about an hour here. Like I said, Christian, thank you for coming on, man. We had some really good talks on this show, I think.
I'm gonna steal this. My favorite species. It started out as saltwater crocodiles. Still is my top favorite species. But after doing, it's the animal that got me interested in reptiles and animals in general. But the after doing research. It's actually the Chinese alligator. They're the most endangered species of crocodilian on the planet. There's, as of this past January, IUCN Red List lists them as having less than 80 breeding age adult individuals in the wild. And as far as I know, the tally is not completely in for this year's breeding season, but last year there was only 3 discovered nests. And of those, we have been trying with ours. Yeah, we have 4 Chinese alligators. There are a lot in captivity throughout the world. However, returning them to the wild is not something that has happened yet. China has not allowed it.
It's going to be cloning for that one. That's going to be one of the species, I believe. That I do remember you talking about that because you did a hell of a lot of research and big paper published on the Chinese alligator and such. Still say, man, these papers you put together, you should go put them out there and shit. I really do think so because a lot of people, you never know. I mean, there's people who work in paleontology now that were just big fans like me, and they work full time in it. And maybe they volunteered a little bit like myself, but they put together a paper. And they're like, oh, this paper's actually really good. Have you done the experience? No. Okay, well, come on down with us. You never know what can happen with that. I do want to say, we got to mention the Steve Irwin on the show because we're talking about Crocs. That was my inspiration for it. That's why I like working with crocodilians is, same. Yeah, and most of us here in the animal business, no matter what species you're working with, is that.
It's either Steve Irwin, Jeff Corwin, Jack Hanna.
I met 2 out of the 3.
Have you?
Yeah. Did not meet Steve. I have met Jeff Corwin. I actually have a book with his autograph somewhere, actually, too. I don't know where. We just recently moved into the apartment.
I'll give you $5.
I should say something. That tells you all you need to know. I'll tell stories off mic for that one. Yeah. So, I mean, shit, I've loved crocodilians probably since I've been 5. 5 years old, I think. Even before Steve Irwin. I loved him even before that.
Oh God, I'd have to check Facebook to find out. I'm reminiscing right now. I want to say my first grade, maybe second grade birthday party. So I was turning, 7, maybe 8. Was actually Steve Irwin in Australia Zoo themed birthday party. I have one of the original shirts in a men's small. So it is one of these shirts from the Crocodile Hunter Collision Course set. As well as I do have, the shirt from the movie. I have the cards, the playing cards. I have the board game. I have seen the movie. I have it on DVD. Don't you worry. And I do also have the bath towel that they put out.
Do you have it out to see?
It's at my parents' house, but I'll bring it. I'll bring it to Olivia's, so you can see it. But and. I've got every copy of the show. I have the movie. There was a second movie, but I don't really count that one. I don't think anybody does because it wasn't really a movie. Dakota's giving me a look like he's never even heard of it.
I know I've actually heard about it, but I don't remember it at all.
I have just about all of it, but salties and Chinese alligators are my favorites.
He used to have a Steve Irwin bobblehead who would say crikey all the time. Used to. Yeah, it was plastic, so you obviously win this dick competition. But technically though, and I should clarify, when I did meet Jack and Jeff, separate occasions, and it was because I was volunteering at a museum who is not in business anymore, but I still have the hat. It's the Midwest Museum of Natural History. I was a friend. It's a long story, but long story short, I worked with their animals there when I was 7. I was working with venomous snakes. Okay. Yeah, they had black mamba there. Worked with that. I worked with their non-venomous snakes, bugs. bearded dragons, skinks. Along those lines, they had a bunch of living collections there. They had stuffed animals that were donated, like lions that were alive but then stuffed. They had them donated. They were donated by not big game hunters or bullshit like that, but actually scientists. So like they were ones that were used for science, and people would come in and actually study them and research them or shit like that.
I'll say that I think I'm gonna start wrapping it up.
Yeah. No, you're good. I just want to say that they came out to there, and yeah, that's where I know them from. They did presentations, and I worked with their animals.
Well, I say as we start to shut this down and wrap this up, I say if you'd have me, I'd love to be back to have a more in-depth episode talking about crocodilians. I know we just kind of touched on it, but this is more, I assume, of an introductory episode to the podcast and the chaos that it will ensue.
A lot of chaos.
But along with that, I think it would be fantastic to do an episode on museums.
We absolutely can. There are a few people we could reach out to too. I think you and I both can. I definitely say there's going to be a part 2 in crocodilians. I'm going to make it clear now. We're always going to have a part 2. So there's going to be a part 2 to every subject animal that we're going to be doing on this show. Christian will be definitely back for crocodilians. I'll have other people on the show too, but just so you guys know, yeah, it is definitely going to be multiple parts for different species that we cover on the show. Not just reptiles. We're going to cover birds. We're going to cover mammals. We're going to cover aquatics. Oh, Casey'd be awesome to have on this show. Holy shit. Yeah, he'd be great. He taught me a lot about aquariums the other day. You and I both, and then he taught me about transportation of aquatic animals as well. Man, yeah, I do want to. Man, I want to work with aquatics again so fucking bad. I've worked with stingrays and bamboo sharks. But, Christian, because you have a few things coming up, actually, though. Where can people find you on social media if you want to give it out? If you have any.
I don't.
Slacking.
Nothing official, at least. Just like my personal.
I mean, personal account. Oh, it's private? Oh, well, fuck me, I guess. Well, for the show, guys. For the show, you can follow me at Dakota Morgan 3 on Twitter, Instagram at Dakota_Morgan97. You can catch all the pictures of the animals we actually work with because I post them multiple times on Instagram. I think I have you on Instagram. I can't remember. Okay. If you see ads me right now to be like, no. No, you don't. Now you do. Wow. Who's what?
This is under your recommended.
Well, I don't know about adult entertainment stores. And if you want to follow it on the YouTube page, Dakota Morgan up on YouTube. What?
I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. Is it bad?
No.
Oh.
We've talked about it before, but I didn't know you followed me.
Oh.
Greg Wong?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, so you guys can keep in touch with the show on there. YouTube, Dakota Morgan for all things dinosaur that I do on there, as well as video games and other shit like that, too. Just subscribe to the show for new episodes every week, guys. I'm going to try to do every week here. We may take some breaks in between for Nature's Radio, wherever you guys listen to podcasts. It's going to be out everywhere. So I got to fucking sign that up. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed the show, leave a review, too. We'd appreciate the reviews. If you want Christian back, say it on a fucking review if you want him back. If you think he's a piece of shit, I'll go ahead and say you're sure, yeah. But no, I'm kidding. That's what we can. He's gonna get up to Twitter. All right, I mean, here you go.
No, it's fine.
All right, doesn't know his name in Twitter. Brother wants to start a podcast. I don't know this shit. God damn it. Yeah, thanks, guys, and of course, any final words, Christian? I hate you. I hate love you. It's a love-hate relationship. God damn it. You want to come back for part 2. Hopefully we'll have a double mic set up at that point. But it's very expensive.
I have a mic stand. I can just bring it.
There you go. Yeah, we can do that. But yeah, guys. You guys all rock. I want to say thank you for listening. If you fucking listen to this whole thing, you rock. I fucking feel like Jeff Ramsey right now with this outro. But it's fine. Yeah, thanks, guys. And of course, as always, remember, folks, protect all animals, conserve, and